Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to bring you a beginner's guide to Final Fantasy XIV. I started playing 14 about a year ago now, and during that time I've learned a lot of useful tips that I'd like to share, with the hope that it'll help new players that are just beginning their journey. I still have a lot to learn myself, but the experience of playing 14 for the first time is still relatively fresh in my mind. So hopefully these tips will help ease you into the experience. I'm also planning on creating videos with more advanced tips covering topics such as leveling, dungeons, UI, and more. But for now, let's just dive into my top 10 Final Fantasy XIV tips for beginners. The first tip that I have for you actually relates to the free trial that you can take advantage of before purchasing 14. Recently, Square Enix has expanded the free trial of 14 to include the first major expansion for the game, Heavensward. While there are quite a few restrictions when it comes to using a trial account in the game, you're free to experience the entire storyline of both the base game, known as A Realm Reborn, and Heavensward. This should give you plenty of time to decide if 14 is right for you before you commit to purchasing the game or a subscription. As a bonus tip, make sure you enter in a referral code when signing up for your first month of 14's subscription service. You'll get some nice bonuses that'll help you save Gil, 14's primary currency, in the future. If you don't have any friends that are currently playing 14, you could always find players on Reddit or other forums that would be more than happy to give you a referral code. The next tip is all about character creation. Basically, don't worry too much about it. Unlike most other MMOs, you're not locked into your starting class forever. In fact, you can eventually level all of the classes in the game on a single character if you'd like. Feel free to pick whatever race you'd like to play as well. The racial stat bonuses are negligible, and things like your character's height, for instance, won't affect gameplay. When choosing your character's birthday or their patron deity, just go with whatever sounds interesting to you. Keep in mind though, you cannot change your character's physical appearance once they've been created. While you can still eventually alter their hairstyle, makeup, and things of that nature, you'll need to spend money on an item called Fantasia in order to alter their height, facial structure, and other physical attributes. You'll receive one free Fantasia after completing A Realm Reborn, but after that, you'll need to pay up. Another small warning. While a lot of equipment in 14 is gender neutral, some of it is gender locked, so keep that in mind. Also, the race known as Viera are more restricted than the other races when it comes to headgear, though this might change in the future, hopefully. This next tip is a relatively quick one. Be mindful of the data center and the server that you choose to create your character on. Servers on the same data center, such as Exodus and Leviathan, can be visited regardless of your home server. However, this only applies if those servers are on the same data center. So if you're planning on playing with friends, make sure you join their data center. There are also restrictions when server hopping within a data center, so it would be best to make sure that you also join the same server as your friends if you're planning on playing with them. Another thing to keep in mind are favored servers, which are marked by this symbol here. These servers grant players increased experience gain, as well as some additional bonuses upon reaching certain milestones. One of the first things that you'll probably notice when you start your journey is this little symbol here, next to your character's name. This is the symbol of a sprout, otherwise known as a new player. This symbol lets other players know that you're new to 14, or returning after a long absence, which means that they're more likely to be patient and understanding with you. Cherish your time with the sprout, because one day it will leave you, like a mother bird kicking her child from the nest. You may also notice players walking around with this symbol next to their name. These players are known as mentors. Mentors will hopefully be willing to answer your questions, as well as invite you to the Novice Network. The Novice Network is a chat channel designed specifically for new players. Next up, I'll be talking about the various kinds of quests in 14. This symbol here represents the main story quests that will advance the story upon completion. These are also known as your MSQ. If you're ever lost or unsure about what you should be doing, try doing your next MSQ, as these quests will also bring you to new areas as you progress through them. Quests marked by this blue symbol here are important class and feature quests that will generally unlock new classes, class skills, or other advanced features in the game. It's definitely worth picking these up as you come across them. Lastly are the side quests, marked by this symbol here. These quests won't advance the main story or unlock any major features in the game, but they will often provide additional context for characters and locations, as well as some rewards, of course. There are a lot of side quests in the game, so if you're ever feeling burnt out, I definitely recommend sticking to the MSQ for a while. If you have OCD like me, however, well, that map isn't going to clear itself. Oh, there are also repeatable quests that are marked by this symbol here, but I'll save that for another time. When you arrive in a new area, one of the first things you're going to want to do is to unlock all of the aetherytes. Unlocking these will allow you to teleport between them, which makes getting around a lot quicker. Unlocking the smaller aetherytes that can be found in most cities will also help you to familiarize yourself with those cities. And once all of them are unlocked, you will gain the ability to teleport outside of that city's gates. Teleporting between major aetherytes throughout the world will cost gil based on the distance traveled. You can alleviate this by setting a home aetherite, as well as a free aetherite and some additional favored aetherytes. If you download the one-time password app for 14, which is a good idea by the way, you will be granted an additional free aetherite. This one is simple, but don't forget to repair your gear. You really don't want to be caught in a dungeon with broken gear, so make sure that you occasionally visit one of the various menders found all across the game world. Another simple but incredibly important tip, don't forget to equip your soul crystal after reaching level 30 on your starting class. Doing so will change your class and unlock a ton of additional skills. For instance, a conjurer will change into a white mage. This does not happen automatically though, so don't forget about that soul crystal. You do not want to be that one thaumaturge queuing into level 50 dungeons. Speaking of classes, you might be wondering how you can become a red mage, or a dark knight. These are classes that were introduced later on in 14's life cycle, and they work a bit differently. Once you reach a certain level with any of the starting classes, you'll be able to speak to an NPC to unlock one of these newer classes. The level required and the location of the quest giver both vary depending on the class. These classes are also unique because they start out at the level required to unlock them, meaning that you won't need to level them from scratch once they've been unlocked. The last tip I wanted to talk to you about is probably the most important one. Play the game at your own pace. That goes for every aspect of the game. If you want to experience every single quest that the game has to offer, go ahead. And if you only care about getting to the highest level content as quickly as possible, that's perfectly fine too. 14 has one of the most welcoming communities that I've ever experienced in an MMO. People will generally be understanding if you want to view all the cutscenes in a dungeon. They'll help you if you don't understand a mechanic. Spend your time in 14 doing the things that interest you, whether that's cooking for 8 hours straight, going through dungeons all night long, or focusing entirely on the story. If you're having fun, that's what matters. Well, that's everything for this video. I hope that these tips will be helpful to new players just starting out in 14. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more tips, guides, and other content related to 14, please consider liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.